People don't deserve suffer like this. The civilian peoples are dying.
A San Jose State visiting scholar talks about her fear for her family back home in Ukraine.
And coming up next, we will hear about mask mandates and new guidelines.
And what exactly are SF Ukrainians asking people to do besides showing solidarity? This story coming up.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Sulma Kanawi.
And I'm Niku Parsizadeh. Around the world and right here in the Bay Area, people are taking to the streets to show their solidarity with Ukrainians as the bombing and unprovoked attacks continue. In San Francisco, local Ukrainians asked protesters to go to the extra step, to dig deep and help fund relief efforts. Reporter Sandow has that story.
As many as 1,000 people gathered at San Francisco's Ferry Building to show their support for the Ukrainian people, just 2 days after the Russian invasion.
Все другие страны обречены на нищенское существование, на боль, на смерти. Это должно прекратиться. Слава Украине!
Bay Area Ukrainians, who spanned several generations, reflected on their families still living in the war-torn country. Some came from a generation that knows war all too well.
Every day you wait, more people will die.
Some praise the economic sanctions. Other nations, including the US, are imposing on Russia and the Russian president.
I'm glad that they just recently decided to actually sanction Putin himself. So I think it's a big first step.
But many feel that more should be done. They're asking for more NATO intervention and protection for the Ukrainian airspace. But they also pointed out that individuals can take immediate action to help in the form of donations.
I guess vector for donation would be the Ukrainian military via the Ukrainian National Bank.
And they said there are immediate things individuals can do.
To reach out to your Ukrainian friends if you have any. That's very important to them right now.
This event was followed by another gathering on Sunday. According to the organizer, more rallies like this will be happening in SF. Reporting in San Jose, Sandow, Update News.
While Ukraine battles a Russian invasion at home, Ukrainians in the U.S. face the challenge of supporting their country from across the world. Reporter Christian Trujano spoke with the SJSU visiting scholar from Ukraine who worries for her family and her country.
People don't deserve suffer like this. The civilian peoples are dying.
Valeria Karnokova is a Ukrainian citizen and visiting scholar working on her master's thesis here at San Jose State. But the Russian invasion of her country is all she can focus on right now.
My family right now is in different places of Ukraine, but my grandparents are in the center. It is considered as the calmest zone, a bit more, but no place in Ukraine is safe right now. My aunt, she's a doctor, and she's still going to the hospital. She's working regularly and normally. Of course, it is scary, but she continues to do it.
Karnokova is studying Ukrainian migration. She fears the refugee crisis that will stem from the invasion will be overwhelming. But she still has hope in her country's resilience and unity. She says all they need is a little help from the rest of the world.
People are united, but it is still scary. I'm worried. I'm super worried about my family, but for now, they write me, they call me, so I can talk to them. That is important. Yeah.
Reporting for Update News, I'm Christian Trujano.
Should the U.S. get more involved in the Ukrainian conflict? We put that question to students at San Jose State in this week's State of the Spartans.
I just don't want them to go to World War III. That's my big thing. But I want them to help Ukraine, and it's like that touchy thing where what can they really do except put more sanctions? So, yeah, I guess that's just my response, is just continue to sanction Russia to deter them.
I think the way things are going right now, I feel like the U.S. is doing what they can in terms of sanctions and in terms of pressuring Europe of getting Russia out of the SWIFT program. But as far as I can tell, it's a bit of a complicated situation because it's like Russia is a nuclear superpower and we are a nuclear superpower as well. And last thing we want is escalate the situation. So I think in terms of like economic sanctions, I just think we need to be more harsh with that, because at the end of the day, if Russia doesn't have money to pay for their weapons or to pay their troops, then everything's going to fall apart.
I don't believe that we should fight any war. There is no winner. In war, the children lose, the parents lose, the community loses. If we're not trying to inspire and uplift the world, we all failed. As a person of faith, God says, how do you know who's going to help you if you can't get to love people who don't look like you?
Following a week of consecutive low rates of new COVID-19 cases, Santa Clara County lifted its indoor mask mandate. But if you're going out to eat or going shopping, you still might have to mask up. Santa Clara County is the last county to lift its mask mandate, while also leaving the option for businesses to decide on their own terms.
Today to confirm that in Santa Clara County, we've met all the metrics that we set out as we anticipated that we would. And as of tomorrow, we will move from a mask requirement to a mask recommendation.
How do employees and students around the campus feel about the mandates changing?
I feel that it'd be fine if we're outdoors and it's sunny. It should be safe. To know that we're the only county that's not really lifting it yet, it's pretty reassuring to know that we are being cautious. I'm someone who has asthma, so I'm always cautious, wearing my mask everywhere.
I haven't been sick, since like the beginning of COVID, like for more than a cold. So I'll keep my mask on. I think I think it's safer than ever to take it off personally, but like when it comes to being around people, I think I'd just be more comfortable. So it'd be like a personal thing for me.
But here on the San Jose State University campus, the interim president says the university will continue its indoor masking requirement for now.
When we come back,
we are now 3 weeks into in-person classes and students are still adjusting. More on this story coming up next.
Individuals are being stalked by the Apple AirTag. I'll show you how to protect yourself right ahead.
Coming up, we will be talking about tax filing becoming a bit easier. Stay tuned. Painful, but now a new service aims to make it just a little bit easier. You can drop off your returns without ever having to get out of your car. Tax season is here, and so are tax preparers. This time around, technology and the pandemic have prompted change. You can now drop off your tax forms and receive an email when it's been processed.
With last year not being able to do it and the year before because of COVID, there's been a trickle back, and then since have to limit contact and trying to keep people safe, they've found a way to get it done, and then it's often telephone where the questions and stuff happen.
Over the past 2 years, things have considerably changed, from social interaction to changes in how you purchase items. TaxAid, a Bay Area nonprofit, has offered online tax service. Now they have transformed accessibility to its services, from curbside and courtyard tax drop-offs in places like San Mateo.
I see.
This is good. Well, for myself, I used to go all the way to San Francisco and always had to make time to go. Compared to here, you don't have to wait. It's fast, and if you were to go to the offices, you would have to wait until it was your turn. I do think they should continue doing this, especially for someone like myself. For people who struggle with technology and time, events like curbside and courtyard drop-offs may be just the right answer. TaxAid seems to continue down this route, looking into newer ways to keep in touch with clients.
What we're trying to do right now is really to try to automate more of the processes so that a client can know exactly where they are in the stage and get a notification, so that they would get more likely an email than a text that says, your tax return is with, the tax preparer, or we need more information from you, or good news, your tax return is ready.
The company is also working on a new system to let you track the progress of your tax returns.
Last year, Apple introduced a device that helps you track down your missing items. They're called AirTags, but now some consumers are reporting security concerns. The frightening part, somebody was using AirTags to track them.
This is Piper, a black lab whose owner decided to install an Apple AirTag on her leash. An AirTag is a small coin-sized tracking device helping people keep track of their personal belongings. The AirTag is attached, tracking her location.
I bought an AirTag to put on my dog's leash in case it went missing.
We all tend to lose things, but Apple's AirTag are supposed to help you locate your missing items. But now there's a problem sparking some safety concerns. Individuals have noticed that the AirTag could be used to stalk others by placing it inside your bag when you're not looking, or putting it on your car to track where you live. These stalkers can insert the AirTag on the bottom of your car, or even hidden away where you never think to look. From SJSU cybersecurity expert, hold an iPhone next to an AirTag and it will reveal the tag's serial number, which you could give to the police to find the owner.
While I was hanging out with one of my friends who has an AirTag on her wallet, I got an alert on my phone indicating that the AirTag was found moving with me. So thankfully, it was just my friends, but you know what? Anybody can actually put a tag on you without you knowing.
Week 3 of in-person classes is wrapping up at San Jose State, and some students say that they just haven't adjusted yet. They wish they had the option to stick with online learning. Reporter Roger Smith has the story.
Midterms are right around the corner, but some students are beginning to panic. Nadia Alvarez, a second-year student, liked online learning and doesn't like the change to in-person.
Way more like nerve-wracking, and it's just being around all these people who are like struggling too. It's a more hectic environment.
SJSU has had online learning for nearly 2 years. Now, some graduating seniors say they are feeling the pressure. Senior Carla Armenta says the transition hasn't been easy.
It's been difficult going back to in person when it's a class that would be easier if it was online still.
Some are scrambling to remember the information from the beginning of the semester when they were online. Armenta explains one thing she preferred doing online was presentations.
Presentations online, and it's easier now. You can just like share your screen, you can talk about things. It's easier to maneuver. You're not actually standing in front of a bunch of people. It's just your face.
Some are scrambling to remember the information from the beginning of the semester when they were online. Armenta explains one thing she preferred doing online was presentations. Not only are students having to adjust, but so are the professors. Professor Donna Nichols explains that she understands what students are going through, but knows she has a job to do.
I do sympathize with the students who are graduating, and this is their last semester and they're wanting to make it as easy as possible. But as a teacher, I'm trying to make my teaching as effective as possible.
SJSU is still offering tutorings as well as peer connections for those who are struggling. I'm Rodri Smith, Update News.
And now we have Jonathan Schaefer with the weather.
This week's weather report. We're looking at rain chances to return with less showers this weekend, cooler temps and wind from 70s to high 50s and 60s, and Sierra snow continues through the weekend. After a very warm start to this week, we're seeing cooler chances with much needed rain chances into the start of the weekend. This also means Sierra snow at times with the return of more winter-like conditions. Note the futurecast showing in the areas in green more widespread shower chances for Saturday, decreasing into Sunday with some cool and windy conditions at times. Top rain totals are expected to be near the mountains where some areas can see more of a quarter inch of rain. Moving forward into this week now, we're starting off with Santa Cruz. In Santa Cruz, it's looking a bit rainy this weekend with a high of 56 and a low of 54 on Saturday, and a high of 59 and a low of 56 on Sunday with a bit more rain. Now in San Francisco, it's going to be a high of 54 and a low of 55 with some more rain, and Sunday is going to be a 58 and 57. Now in Oakland, high is going to be 56 and low of 41 on Saturday with some more rain. And in our lovely town of San Jose, Saturday is looking at some rain with a high of 57 and a low of 55. My name is Jonathan Schaefer. Back to you guys in the studio.
When we come back,
Spartan Athletics' first ever Pride Night here at the Event Center. Stick around and we'll show you how it all went down.
Coming up, we look at the San Jose Earthquakes home opener at PayPal Park.
SJSU women's basketball hosted its final home game of the season last Friday on senior night. It was also the Spartans' first ever Pride Night in San Jose. Reporter Jonathan Schaefer was there to catch the action.
The San Jose State women's basketball team closed out its home schedule against the Lobos on Friday, unfortunately losing by a score of 80-58. But that was not what the game was all about. The team bid farewell to the squad's outgoing seniors, including senior forward Sydney Lewis.
I just know her through and through. I've coached her as a young player all the way to this young woman in front of you. I've seen her grow and blossom.
Lewis scored 17 points in her final home game in a Spartans jersey on a very emotional night for her and her teammates.
Like, it's a real feeling, like being here for 5 years. You know, last year got canceled, so being able to come back and play in front of a home crowd meant everything. And I'm glad I had the chance to do it.
Though it was a farewell that night for all the seniors, a new beginning happened for Pride, as every ticket that was purchased went to the LGBTQ youth and project outlet through the San Jose State Pride Center.
You know, it's huge. I think ultimately what it's about is just understanding and accepting that people are different. That's really what tonight was about. And I think that my team embodies that. They accept each other. And you know, we just wanted to support people and let everybody know that, you know, this is a place you can be, San Jose State in general, and that we would embrace you as a program.
The Spartans closed out the season with a win against Boise and will now compete in the Mountain West Tournament on March 6th. In San Jose, I'm Jonathan Schaefer, Update News.
Major League Soccer is back as the San Jose Earthquakes began the 2022 season at home versus the New York Red Bulls. Fans flooded PayPal Park to catch the action and came early to tailgate in the parking lot. Reporter Jesus Delitud spoke with Earthquake fans at the game about their hopes and expectations for the season.
Fans came out in force Saturday afternoon to cheer on the Earthquakes. It was San Jose's home opener at PayPal Park as they took on the New York Red Bulls. Optimism was in the air as fans are excited about the season and the team's chances to be a contender.
You know, I hope Almeida and the new players he brought in could bring up at least a little change during the season, at least like in the top 5 or playoff berth this season.
Fans said the tailgating seemed almost nostalgic. Seeing everyone socializing gave them flashbacks to pre-pandemic times.
Yeah, it's good to see people, the community coming back together from you know, some tough times, seeing everybody mingling with each other. It's good to see people we haven't seen in a few months.
I think it's great that people feel comfortable to be in community and experience joy together now that it's safe to do so, now that public health officials have said it's okay and that cases are going down. So I feel really good. I'm hanging out with friends. I actually just saw someone who I haven't seen in 10 years, so that's been pretty great.
Fans are getting acclimated to new faces on the team this season, as it marks the first time since 2009 that the Quakes are without all-time MLS goal scorer Chris Wondolowski.
We're really missing Wando this season, but definitely I'm always hopeful for Shea.
But their hopes were dashed. Despite the home field advantage, the team lost 3-1 after a grim second-half performance. Maybe with the support from the fans, the Earthquakes can make the MLS playoffs this season after only making 3 appearances in the last 10 years. In San Jose, Jesus Delitud, Update News.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
For all of us here, thank you for joining us and see you next week.